Hey, welcome once again to Red Alert 3. We're going to be on Infinity Isle, and with Eminence returning from, I don't know, a couple games ago, I think I cast him, and going to be throwing down that power plant in just the right position. Anyways, going to be the Green Empire on the right side, and on the left side of Infinity Isle, once again, in case you forgot, is aznx123, because, you know, names are silly. Anyways, Blue Soviets, and this will be, I believe it's supposed to be aznx123. I actually don't know for sure. It did have a Smurf going by the name of aznx123 or something like that, so that's what I'm going to be saying. Feel free to let me know if I'm wrong, because names are one of those things that dual power plants followed up by only 2 dojos. Names are one of those things that I never get right. And when I say never, I actually mean about half the time I get them right and about half the time I get them wrong. Anyways, going to be going for only dual dojo, not any sort of triple dojo action. Of course, one of the dojos is almost always going to be exclusively for that oil derrick. Pump out an engineer right at the mouth, and then it's almost guaranteed to get in there before any sort of dogs or enemies can take it down, especially with that speed boost. No, fast war factory before second ref. So sold off that barracks, got his engineer and a couple of infantry just to hold the line, to hold him until he can get the sickle, but spotted immediately by that burst drone, and it has been spotted. And it looks like terror drones are going to be out, and it does look like the dragon, the burst drone, did get trapped there, and I believe you can, if you get the timing right, you can actually hit them. Hit the burst drone when they're on the ground, and then you can attack them. You can lock them with the terror drone and then attack them. I'm pretty sure. It's something like that. Anyways, bear rather. Dogs, bear, same thing. What's the difference? Anyways, dog bear going to be around for that scout and actually activating the burst a little bit, not too early at all, destroying that. Wow, that might be slightly overpowered, and then going to be selling off that barracks, exactly what you would expect to see, which, why the heck not? Because in that awkward position, that barracks isn't going to be a whole lot of use. Looks like the bear is going to be able to outrun those Imperial warriors, even though they are pretty well trained. Bears, of course, can run like 35 miles an hour, so it totally makes sense that that bear can outrun him. But, oh! And going to be locking down. Can he get the switch? No! He is going to take some serious damage to that ore collector, and does he? He doesn't have anything to repair this. Going for fast tech. What in the world is happening in this game? We have War Factory before Refinery, and not following it up with a super reactor, rather following it up with a third base, and then a barracks. Like, still no super reactor. That's so weird to see, because War Factory, what do you expect to see out of that? A super reactor. Not, actually, you don't produce the super reactor at the War Factory, but you produce a super reactor so you can get the hammer tanks, because hammer tanks are the staple, the main battle tank of the Soviets. Why wouldn't you get hammer tanks? And then these two players are like, hey, you know what let's do? Let's do something crazy that, like, no one ever does, really. I mean, yes, people do that, but it is pretty rare to see War Factory before second Refinery. So going to be building and then selling off that dojo pretty quickly. They're going for that tier 3, I guess. I have no idea what Eminence is doing. Both players, they were like, hey, we're going to put on an infantry front, like we're going to try and do something with infantry, but not really, because we're actually doing a War Factory and just now finishing that super reactor, and then following it up with an expansion, and both these players are, I don't even know anymore, and still, what in the world is he doing? Where is the mecha bay? And what? I don't understand. He built a barracks and then sold it off and built the nanotech mainframe, and then sold that off and built another barracks. So he's effectively back where he was before he built the nanotech mainframe, except for like $3,000 less. Anyways, airfield going to be going down right next to that super reactor, which is a curious position, but he's basically forced to because of that build radius. His MCV is up here, so he doesn't have the proper build radius. He could have thrown it down over here. Like, I guess that does kind of, that sets up his production facilities to be easily hit. And, oh, Eureka, so that's what he was doing. But still, it's like, without, oh my, is he going some sort of crazy infantry build? Eminence, you be crazy, son, but will it get spotted? Actually, yes, showing the rocket angels off, like, what? Hey, I've got tier 3 infantry, but I'm going to let you know anyways, this game is going to be absolutely weird. I don't even know what's happening, but we do have a twin blade, and just right next to that super reactor, so if it goes down, okay, you basically destroyed your own airfield. aznx123 going to be going on the hunt for some ore collectors. He was able to do a little bit of economic damage over here and then do some more over here, which is not a bad choice at all. And oh, actually, 2 Rocket Angels could lock this attack down because, oh, hey, now let's bring over a 3rd Rocket Angel, which actually he doesn't have at all. I figured he would have a 3rd one out by now. We're going to be sniping that Harvester and then swinging on back, and it does look like the MiG is going to be out, but as soon as Yuriko gets over there, she will clean this mess up because Yuriko eats all aircraft. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's tier 3? No, it doesn't even matter. Nothing even matters when it's Yuriko. She's just going to destroy everything, wreck your day. Because that's what always happens to me. 2 Twin Blades going to be out on the hunt, and Yuriko, will she get one or will she get both of them right there? One does go crashing into the ground. Second one is going to be able to escape. She's not able to snag the MiG either. And in the middle, we do have Infantry Wars versus Sickles. Sickles are going to be able to clean everything up. Bears showing up for reinforcements. But how good is this army actually going to be versus Yuriko? Because with a little bit of micro, especially with that Rocket Angel second ability and locking down those sickles, because Yuriko can fairly effectively deal with the bears depending on if they get the amplified roar out or not. I mean, it could totally fail, but we are going to see. Oh, is this going to be a Badger bomber? Oh, totally sniping Yuriko. That was not... Wow, that was just so fast. Just totally owned Yuriko, though. So, Eminence, maybe this build isn't working out for him. He does have that Mecha Bay out now. Sort of a late timing there, and what in the world else is going on with this game? I have no idea, but throwing those Molotov cocktails, because why not? You're going to burn down a futuristic building. Why not use alcohol? And no, there is no other option to a Molotov cocktail. Anyways, Rocket Angel is going to be the unit of choice, which is quite curious. Not a unit you see very much. Of course, getting out that tier 3 tech, spending that money to get tier 3 on a barracks is not something you see very often. But going to be finally Tengus, one of the staples of the Imperial Army, just now being seen. I wish we had a timer in-game because I would tell you at what minute mark this happened, because normally that's like the 1 minute mark. Okay, it's not actually, but it's, you know, normally like the 2-3 minute mark that you see those Tengus, and, you know, maybe 4 or 5 minutes depending on how fast the game is progressing. But now it's like the 27-minute mark, and he's just now getting out his first Tengu. What is he going to follow it up with? More Tengus. Is he going to go for the tech, or is he just going to try and power those tier 1 units in combination with his tier 3 barracks? He's not really producing anything there. He does have a second Yuriko out over here, skimming around that water, and quite a few Rocket Angels, 6 to be exactly 6 right there. I don't see too many more around the map, but pretty good expansions from both of these players. They have claimed their four main expansions. Of course, each one does have a 5th expansion, but those are the awkward one. It's usually, there's 4 pretty solid to secure expansions per map, and then the 5th one is just this awkward position that almost no one ever takes. At least that's the way it seems on a lot of different maps, and this is going to be no exception. We are going to have some battles going on, but turns out Jet Tengus versus Bullfrogs. Who's going to win when they're on the ground? Hammer Tanks are going to win, because Hammer Tanks are rolling up because it's hammer time. And where are the Bullfrogs now? Bring them over here. He was trying to run them away. Asian was running them away to keep them out of danger. But then Hammer Tanks rolled up, and with no support. Oh, and with Yuriko here, not actually able to kill that Bullfrog. She's able to smash Kirovs from the ground, but killing a tier 1 vehicle? Please. Please. Actually, would that be tier 2? Although it is the first unit. No, that would be tier 1. Because it is the first unit out of that war factory. And going to be transforming one more time with this Rocket Angel Yuriko combo. This is what I expected to see from the beginning. Just Eminence tearing it up in this base, because this is such a weird combo. And because Rocket Angels are so good if you can get them out. And even in groups of 4, although a little bit bigger groups of 6 or 8 are even more deadly. And the terror drones, gotta hand it to Asian in this game, doing pretty good on the harassment despite being pretty heavily attacked so far in the last 2 minutes or so, losing quite a bit in terms of forces and even an expansion over here. He's doing a pretty good job of trying to stay in the game, trying to even the odds and make stuff happen. looks like a Jet Tengu is going to be here to, I'm assuming, hunt down that or that, oh. Okay, so it's gonna set up a, I'm guessing he would be going for some sort of a Tesla push, but I don't actually know. And going to be using the Badger Bombers once again, but it will be a little bit late. Going to get some splash damage on those Tengus just in case, and the Terror Drone does go down right there, so that Ore Collector needs to get back to work when he can. Of course, his workplace is kind of covered in toxins, which, under normal circumstances, that would be reason to get to Mecha Base and call in sick from work. Be like, hey, yeah, you know, the building that I work in, it's currently covered in toxins. Is that okay if I stay home? And then they're just like, no, get back to work. Get back to work. Luckily, those are pretty fast dissolving or decaying toxins, depending on which type they are. And the Rocket Angels are going to be taking some pretty heavy splash damage from those Bullfrogs. No micro out of him. He's not switching any over. He's just going to tank the damage and die. Able to take 2 of those Bullfrogs with him, and Flak Troopers are the correct choice, of course, because they do not do very much damage to infantry. The Rocket Angels, that is, in so many Mecha Tengus, but they're going to get cleaned up by these Hammer Tanks. Even with the point defense drones, I don't even know if they'll be able to hold long enough, but going to be taking down the Tier 3 Instant Dojo. That is not a bad choice at all. Stop those Rocket Angels, which are doing quite a bit of damage to aznx123, and he needs to eliminate that. Not even going to be switching over to the Leech Beam. He needs to make sure that he's attacking these Tengus there with his extra reinforcing tanks, because you only need 1 or 2 tanks focusing down that barracks to kill it pretty quickly, and then the rest can be warding off these Tengus so you don't take quite as much damage. And oh, killing this power plant would be so annoying. Not necessarily the biggest move of the game, but pretty darn annoying because those cores are so fragile, and now the Tsunami tanks are going to be out, so they should be able to cur this small group of units in numbers. It is going to take a little while, though. In force, they can come together and defeat this small army, but does Eminence have enough now with two of these Tsunami tanks and with these heavily weakened Hammer tanks? Actually, 3 of them are almost at full health, so not in as bad of shape as I thought. aznx123 will be able to hold on here just fine. Hammer tanks a little bit hardier than those Tsunami tanks, and even with the Bears here just to be chilling out, maxing, and I'm going to try and stop saying that as well because there are some things that I just say a bit too much, but the Bears going to be watching, making sure that no infantry come up and get the sneak on these tanks, going to make sure that there are no Terror Drones, I guess, going to be actually trying to get the sickle right there with that Jet Tengu, and he's like, hey, you don't want to send your guys to attack me? Okay, I'll just, you know, drain your power plant of life and force you to rebuild that, and actually going to be grabbing a couple of tanks with extra cannons to do that damage, and getting out the Striker VX is not a bad choice considering Bullfrog going to be way back here, and he's going to at least get the sickle kill. No, he's not actually. That sickle surviving, and these Jet Tengus just marching right into the maw of this Hammer tank shark thing going on. They're just going to be eating up those Jet Tengus, or those Mecha Tengus, and it does look like pulling his MCV back, or is he leading it into the battle with the fray? Going to be able to, he's going to force aznx123 to do a couple of different things, and actually now it doesn't matter because all of Eminence's forces are basically dead. He's either going to, what I was going to say is force him to back up and stop firing at the Tsunami tanks, or start firing on the MCV, in which case he might be able to run him over, or let the Tsunami tanks do the damage, but aznx123 was like, hey, there's another option here. First, I just shoot up all of his stuff, and then I back the F away and take no damage. And that's exactly what he did, and actually getting a couple of heroic Hammer tanks going to be getting that second gun as well. So not only are they that epic, heroic, legendary status, but they have 2 guns, so they are way cooler than the other guys. They're like the Sneeches with the stars on their bellies. They are the cool kids in town getting repairs for free, and you know what happens then. But a Mecha Tengu going to be on the assault, but will it be enough? I don't think 1 is going to be enough to change the tide. However, Asian, what are you doing right now? You need to be doing some damage with these tanks. You got him in his base, and he's going to be doing damage to you, so you need to be doing damage to him. Looks like he went for some sort of a Terror Drone attack, but 3 Hammer tanks will be able to clean this up, absolutely no problems, and now he's going to be getting on that base, doing that damage with those 2 guns. Not a bad choice at all. Of course, whenever given the choice, do you want to do damage with 1 gun or 2? In some situations, you should probably say yes. We don't like to use blanket statements here because it just proves how wrong I am about so many things. And going to be replacing some of these walls as quickly as he can, but if he can park a Hammer tank in there, it will block it off. Never mind! The Ore Collector is going to be down, and just a single Imperial Warrior. He's like, hey guys, I got this. I'll just shoot them with my machine gun. Oh, wait. No, that guy's got a chain gun, actually. I thought, where did he get that? I don't even know. But anyways, so we got a chain gun on here, which is pretty darn cool. And going to be grabbing that from the ore refinery, going to be taking its life away, shooting it to death. And what does Eminence have to say about this? Well, he's got a water expansion out here, which actually isn't doing anything. He never did finish building that ore collector, I guess. He could take another base. Oh, never mind. He just did. And by just, I mean probably a couple minutes ago when I wasn't paying any attention. What is the refinery core doing? It will get taken out. No, it won't. It will escape. Eminence, how did you do that? What in the world, you wizard? How did you avoid the damage from those hammer tanks? I thought that they were backing up to do that damage, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do some serious damage. And this one dog going to be giving these tank busters so much trouble. And now the hammer tanks are inside the base. Both of the heroic ones are still alive, and all three of the ones with multiple guns are going to be alive. But the rear armor on these tanks getting torn up by the tank busters will take them out, no problems. And Eminence, how did you even hold on there? But Asian not attacking the necessary structures that he needed to take down Eminence. Instead, going for the base, cleaning that out, but it doesn't even matter. Eminence has re-expanded, getting his economy back online, and actually matching the economy of Asian 123, because Asian did lose this expansion right back here and never rebuilt it, which is very important. On the other hand, going to be matching those 3 ore collectors, and oh no, not with the terror drone here to ruin the party. Never invite a terror drone to your party, because he will just zap everybody and take the fun out of it all. And Striker VXs, not enough bullfrogs here to clean them up without them escaping still with their lives. So 4 tank busters, which microed properly, tank busters and their little special abilities can be so annoying, but Molotov cocktails will put a fairly quick end to them, and even one of them going to be heroic, and another one going to have that epic status. And that terror drone is going to be on the move, going to get chased down by those Striker VXs. No problems there. And yep, just a couple of Molotov cocktails should be able to finish those guys off. No problemo. He might actually want to bring them up. They're switching, yeah, right there. You see, oh no, never mind. Not actually able to do very much damage and gave heroic status. So that teaches you what I know. Never listen to what I say, even though he couldn't actually hear me and do what he said. Oh, and re-expanding again, so going to be taking the economy lead in this game, unless Asian 123 wants to re-expand. And yeah, I can understand placing your airfield there, although it does kind of clump together your production facilities right with a refinery, so then it's like 1, 2, 3. That's basically a knockout punch right there. But next to the super reactor, I just couldn't understand. Anyways, we're going to be seeing the MCV moving back here, going for that expansion to try and get back ahead, or actually back on equal footing with Eminence, and Eminence actually going to be losing this expansion right here. Oh, can the Tengus be enough? No, because there's a MiG here to rock that Tengu's world, and actually the Striker VX going to be able to chase off those twin blades as well as the MiG. So a couple of turns of event that I didn't quite foresee, but it does look like MiG versus Tengu. Who will win that one? The MiG will, and oh, there goes the crashing body. Not able to do very much splash damage. Could have done some damage to that wall, but Asian 123 is not so lucky. And 2 heroic, legendary, epic, 2 fully heroic flak troopers going to be making a difference in the next battle, maybe. Could make a huge difference. Could make no difference at all. Looks like going to be taking his 5th expansion, or rather retaking his 3rd or 4th expansion. I do forget which he expanded to first. Players do it in all sorts of different patterns these days. They be crazy like none other. But re-expanding, even throwing down some Striker VXs, so Eminence is going to be not protected from this attack right here, because he pulled back his defense, and he's going to turn them right around, and it does look like the MiG's going to escape on out of there. I can only assume no Jet Tengus are going to show up, and if they're microed, if they focus fire like they should, what is the other one, I guess, wasn't actually existing? Oh, there he is. He's over there. He's chilling. And he actually was doing some twin blade hunting, or these Striker VXs were in it. At any rate, we did lose 3 MiGs and a twin blade, which is not very good, because the rest of the army for Asian 123, I almost forgot his name right there, is not very mobile, unlike the transforming robots of the future, aka the Tesla coil will be an excellent defense, but it will take quite a while to get there, unlike the transforming robots of Eminence's future army. But he didn't bring any Striker VXs, of course, a little bit slower. And oh, the MiGs are here to crash the party. going to be dropping the bombs of Tengu bodies on them, and actually with this hammerhead here, he will be able to do quite a bit of damage and might even be able to save this refinery, especially if these Tengus try and back off. And now they've diverted their attention. They're attacking a bunch of different targets, and they're going to switch to attacking those MiGs, which is probably the best option in that situation, because they got a MiG and they got a twin blade, and the other MiG going to be escaping on out of there. And unfortunately for Asian123, he does not have little repair drones there, but it is going to be satellites falling from on high, falling from the skies, and a couple of bears thinking that they can take an ore collector when it's just not meant to be. I'm sorry, bears, but metal vehicles just aren't really your thing. And actually, Shinobi, so I didn't quite see that one coming, but getting that dojo once again. And does he have... No, none of that tier 3 tech, so we're not going to be seeing any more rocket angels for the moment at least. But the Shinobi, I'm assuming, is going to be going for the infection of that ore refinery, powering it down just a little bit there, and actually going to, maybe not, maybe he's just going to snipe it. But actually, yes, going to be locking that down and then using the Emperor's Rage. And oh, the twin blade is online, the Tesla coil, which of course Tesla coil will one-shot these Mecha Tengus. That I don't even know what they're called anymore. And oh, the attack over here with the hammer tanks going to be running in here and not doing a whole lot of damage by the looks of it. Going to be taking down a single tank, I think. But the tank busters are here to save the day for Eminence and scare off those big mean hammer tanks, and rebuilding right away. That is what you got to do to stay on top of the economy. Although, Eminence doing a pretty good job staying on top of this economy as expanding, and even going to be taking a 6th base, which this is an awkward to secure. Just so awkward, especially for a Soviet player who has to, you know, hike his MCV around there just to get it, or head over a Sputnik, which MiG's going to be cleaning up the skies and able to take that naval yard down to half health. But are we going to be seeing any dreadnoughts? No, not at the moment. No dreadnoughts will be seen for now, because we do need that battle lab for that tier 3 tech. Not going to be happening right now. Instead, bears and hammer tanks in the middle going to be pounding away at this army. Never mind, everything is turning around and reorganizing to engage, and then not engaging, and then engaging again and going. And is he going to force the engagement and getting some free hits off on this Mecha Tengu? Going to be able to do a little bit of damage before this battle begins, but hardly any whole damage. And the Tsunami tanks taking some damage from all of these hammer tanks, which are of course switched to the leech beam for that increased range and a little bit of healing power. Although I think most of these hammer tanks, if not all of them, are going to be at nearly full health. Yeah, just that one right there going to be rocking the yellow status bar, yellow health bar, and going to be going for that one. No, Tsunami tank, and switching over, needs to switch over to the guns, because they do more damage in these situations when you got units, when you got tanks running over all of your units and able to lock down a couple of these tank busters and eliminate them. But needs to switch over to the guns to do that increased damage. And with this one tank buster going to be doing some damage, but the Terror Drone will take it out and going to be pulling back. Looks like Eminence does get infected. His heroic Tsunami tank going to be taking some damage, but he has won this battle, especially with the Mecha tank. He's going to be swooping in here and able to lock this barracks down, no problem. Needs to stop producing units out of that, and needs to get himself some hammer tanks out. And it does look like twin blades wouldn't be a bad choice either, but he does need the MiGs there to support him, to make sure those Tengus do not transform and take him out. And Asian123, what are you doing back here? Going to be sending in the Yari mini sub, which will clean up that expansion. And it does look like he was not able to set up that 6th base, unless that refinery core was actually for this expansion. But these Tsunami tanks being more effective than I thought they were. I think if he would have switched over to the hammer tank guns, that battle might have turned out a little bit differently for him, at least been able to take out some more of those tanks. And actually with the perfect Badger bomber strike, those toxins from those bombers, which is kind of a weird thing to load. Like, hey, we could load in a bunch of bombs, like maybe nukes or something. No, actually no nukes in this timeline, never mind. But we could load in some bombs or something, you know, like some massive TNT charges. No, toxins. Actually, toxins that decompose after like 30 seconds would be a better choice. I don't know who makes the decisions in this army. I guess General Krukov, but he's crazy anyways. And what is Asian123 going to be doing? Capturing capturing, because divide and conquer, so that you can command your army and then divide your enemy by capturing their buildings. It's a pretty good way to go. But the Tesla Tower, I will get it right one of these days, going to be finishing right away and not able to one-shot those tanks, but nearly one more shot, not able to do anything because the power is out, selling off some buildings there. It is too little, too late, but does he realize he's about to get capped? Does he? Oh, is he going to get the snipe on the engineer? No, he's going to sell off the building and then turn his striker VXs around and not take out that building at all. Instead, going to be going for the MCV. No, never mind. He's not going to attack anything. Eminence, what are you doing? Transforming his robots. That's what he's going to be doing, and the barracks does not go down. Instead, the jig is up. The MCV is caught with his pants down, and it is going to be time to pull the pants up and not make any weird references or jokes right now. But the Tsunami Tank's going to absolutely take this MCV down, and nothing he can do will stop that. Trying to build something over here. What was it? He's got the Crusher Crane anyways, so he still has a build queue. And this barracks does survive. He's going to want to clean that out as soon as he can. And this, what is it called? The Kulisub was able to clean out that expansion, so that's going to be super annoying for Eminence. And like I said before, Eminence, actually I didn't say this part before, but Eminence cleaning out, getting that expansion cleaned out as well. But aznx123, he has taken quite a bit of damage, but he's been doing damage to the expansions more than anything else. And that is definitely not a bad choice. My voice is starting to die today, and I don't even know what's happening, but going to be taking out that oil derrick, a minor annoyance there, and just cutting off those funds. And whoa, absolutely important, because he's out of money and going to be calling in those balloon bombs, I assume, although possibly no, it's going to be the final squadron instead of balloon bombs, but was not able to get the hit off on that army. It doesn't even matter, because Eminence's army is here to clean up the anti-air defense, and if he can get this super reactor, that will knock him back to tier 1, although he doesn't even have any production structures other than that naval yard. And that is going to be it for aznx123. Has been defeated. Well done to Eminence. Both of these players with wacky builds in the early game, and Eminence, I guess, able to make it win over the long run with the 2 Mecha Bay build. What even happened in this game? I don't know. I know it was crazy, and it's almost making me lose my voice, which is no good. And Eminence, look at that economy. Getting up those 5-6 refineries is going to be what won him the game. And let's take a look at that. Only 500 more credits per minute, but that does make a difference in the long run, as you saw in that game. And going to get that split right around the 8 to 9 minute mark, which is a lot later than I would have thought, but going neck and neck, almost exactly the same timings for those 3rd and 4th bases. But then that 5th base and that the 5th base and that harassment going to be able to give Eminence the lead, although unit kill to death ratio going to be favoring aznx123, who played pretty strongly in this game. Not one of the most insane games, but a really good game in my opinion, and a really interesting game because of those builds, which is why I liked it, because it was just wonky all over the place, and those are fun games. Anyways, Sybert signing out.